And the question of, are we ever really healed? This is a question that I've seen floating around for a very long time. And when we start to think about the healing journey as something to be attained or something to be achieved, I think it takes away from the essence of what this journey actually is and what it's actually about. What's up, guys, and welcome back to another entry in the Solitude Diaries. So, a topic that's been coming up fairly decently for me lately by myself when I'm in my reflection and introspection practice and talking with others is just this overall concept of the healing journey and the question of, are we ever really healed? This is a question that I've seen floating around for a very long time. And when we start to think about the healing journey as something to be attained or something to be achieved, I think it takes away from the essence of what this journey actually is and what it's actually about. So I don't believe that we are ever fully healed. I believe that our journey evolves and the things that trigger us or start to bring up old patterns, they start to change and they shift depending on where you are in your journey. So, what I've found is that one of my deepest wounds that I have is very much centered around worthiness and not feeling good enough. That is a very deep-seated core wound for me. But for someone else, their core wound may be centered around abandonment or things having to do with codependency. And so I believe that we all have core wounds that are the things that are going to present themselves in our lives for the duration of our lives. Just how they show up is going to look very different. So the way that my wound of worthiness and not enoughness showed up for me in my younger years, in my teens, and my early 20s is very different than how it's showing up now. So back in my younger years, this wound was really centered around my physical looks. So I've done a lot of healing around this wound of worthiness, specifically related to my looks. This was something that I had to really come to a place of acceptance and love within myself and embracing of my features and all of the things that make me unique and beautiful, even if it doesn't align with what society's standards of beauty may be. And so the way that I'm noticing this wound is showing up for me is in how I'm trying to show up professionally, how I'm trying to show up in this space of being on camera and talking and sharing my opinions about things and building a wellness and spirituality brand. And this is where I'm noticing my worthiness wounds are coming up because I'm doing something that is very outside of my typical comfort zone, at least the comfort zone that I knew. And so my wounds are showing up. And a lot of it is protective. And, we have this primitive part of our brain that just tries to keep us safe. And when we venture outside of what's the norm for us, it comes up trying to keep us in our safety. And I recognize that it's coming up and it has come up and it has shown its face throughout this particular journey for me. And what I've had to do is really utilize the skills and the tools and the resources that I have gained over the course of my journey thus far to really combat these thoughts and to combat these false beliefs that are trying to make their way up to the top. And when I think about the healing journey, there are 3 misconceptions that I feel get put onto the healing journey. One is that we come to a place of being healed. And like I just stated, I don't believe that that is true. I believe that the healing journey is a continuous, evolving journey, and we are going to be faced with many different iterations of our stuff. It's just going to show up in very different ways, and what we are to do is to navigate through it in a way that is different than how we normally would have, and in a way that keeps us elevated as opposed to sinking us and bringing us back into submission. The second thing is that the healing journey is not fun. And I understand this one because I think so much emphasis about the healing journey and self-development is centered around the work. It's centered around, the journaling and, going to retreats and doing the breath work and doing this meditation and this writing exercise. And while those obviously are tools that are useful and beneficial in your journey because doing the work is a part of it, there is also an element of it that just needs to be fun. There is an element of it that includes rest and stillness. If we are constantly in a state of doing the work, doing the work, doing the work, you don't get an opportunity to actually be with the work that you've done and embody this work that you've done and start to live out this work that you've done. And a part of that living includes joy. It includes doing things that you like and doing things that bring you a sense of excitement. And if we're constantly only on the rat wheel of healing, 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 we miss the lessons that life has for us, because the lessons show up in all facets of our lives. It's during hardship, it's also during beautiful moments, it's during sadness, it's during all of that that we are receiving in the juiciness that life has for us. And so we must make sure that we are including joyful activities and fun into this journey so that we can fully integrate everything that this journey is here to actually teach us. And the third is that healing happens in isolation. And I've actually learned this firsthand, that while there's a lot of work that you can do and needs to be done in your solitude, because that is important. You do need to have that sacred time with yourself and being with yourself and really being introspective and doing all of that work. It's very important. But I found that the deepest healing happened when I was in community with other people. This was where I was able to really see my triggers and the ways in which I was responding to life outside of myself. It's easy to feel like you have it all together when you are literally by yourself and not interacting with other people. But once you get around other people, they are going to start bringing up things in you. You are now going to be in situations where you're having to discern if this is the right environment for you, if this is something that you even enjoy anymore. And you won't get those pieces of information if you are just staying by yourself. So it's important for us to be in community with other people, and especially with other like-minded people, people who understand the journey that you're on, people who are also walking their own versions of the journey. And there is this level of support and understanding and feeling seen that is incomparable to anything else. When you're able to show up in spaces where you feel authentically you, it allows you to really deepen in the acceptance that you have of yourself. And it allows you to better show up as yourself because you know what it feels like to really be you. And there's something so healing about feeling safe and confident and comfortable to show up in your fullest expression. So when we think about this journey of healing, I really want us to reframe this concept of there being an end to it. That puts so much pressure on feeling like you need to be at a certain space or at a certain point in your journey. And if you're not at a certain point, then it's like you're not doing it well enough. And none of that exists in this type of journey. Your healing journey is yours and it's yours alone. And it's not going to look like anyone else's. And it's also going to continue to change and evolve as you continue to change and evolve. So I really wanted to have this conversation and just to put out this perspective out there regarding healing and this journey and what I have experienced this journey to be so far. And it has been a mixture of solitude and community. And it has been a mixture of doing the work and fun. And it has been a mixture of my wounds and the things that trigger me changing and shifting form. Things look very different for me now than they did just even a couple of years ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the continuous evolution of me in this journey and of life in this journey. And I look forward to what's coming. So that is today's entry. I wish you all well, and I'll catch you guys next time on the Solitude Diaries. Bye.